Hello everyone, and welcome to another Roll for Distraction Developer Showcase, our spin-off series where we play one-shots of TTRPGs brought to us by their designers. My name is Alex Vigna, and I'm the producer here on the channel. Real quick before I turn it over to our guests, if it's your first time here, be sure to hit the subscribe button to catch our other actual plays right here on the same channel. We play lots of different systems, so there's something for everyone, and drop a like and a comment to help out the channel. And now I'd like to welcome today's guests, Jordan Richey, Graeme Fotheringham, and Sebastian Yue, to run a one-shot of their game, Shift. Folks, I'll turn it over to you now. Introduce yourselves to the people, tell us a little bit about the game we're playing today, and get us rolling.
Okay, me first?
Sure.
All right, I'm Jordan. I'm one of the co-designers of Shift and a content lead at Hit Point Press, the publisher of said game. And yeah, I'll be running the game tonight. We'll talk about a bit of the rules, I guess, when we actually get into the gameplay itself, but I'm very excited to be here.
Hello, my name's Graeme. I'm co-designer, co-creator of Shift. I've taken a step back for the last few years, and Jordan and the good team at Hit Point Press have been tackling this thing across the finish line, and super excited, so I'm happy to be here.
Hello, I'm Sebastian. I am the publishing coordinator and community manager at Hit Point Press. Shift has been around since before I joined the company, and I'm very excited to be playing it in its current iteration.
All right, fantastic. Well, thank you all for being here. You've made my job easier on the casting side. Usually I just have I have one guest and I got to get everybody else together, so this has been easy. So before we get into it, real quick, if one of you can give me like a quick rundown of like what is Shift at its core? Like what is it about?
Yeah, I can field that one for you. So Shift is a setting agnostic system. So it's our TTRPG system that you can build your own, pick and choose the pieces of the rule set you want to build out your own setting. We're going to be playing in one of the sort of micro settings, we call them world sparks, that are going to be included in the core book. They kind of give you a jumping off point. The core book's going to come with a few different settings across genres, and this is sort of our twist on the fantasy setting. But a big part of Shift is to be able to sort of design your own world and make sure that you pick and choose the Shift rules that fit your world, and you can tune things to be more complicated or more simplified or more crunchy or more fluffy, whatever you want to call it. And to keep things simple and to make things easy to design live at the table, everything centers around these things called traits and shift die, which is where it gets its name, Shift, and we'll explain that mechanic once we get into it. But yeah, it's really a system that we're hoping will turn people into game designers at the table. As the GM needs more things or a player comes up with an idea, it's very easy to just implement new things right into the game without having to reference a bunch of books and extra things. So it's the game designer's game.
I like that. I like a game that encourages its own modification and homebrew. Well, that's great. So with all that said, speaking of world building, tell us, where are we? What are we doing?
Right. So we're going to be playing in the world spark called Dragon Knights of Ilgara. It sort of mashes together some of the ideas of some of the ideas of post-apocalyptic worlds, but it has a fantasy setting. And at some point in the not-so-distant past of this world, reality kind of unfolded, and these creatures called their names are unknown to you, but you've come to call them the Abhorrent, started spilling out cosmic horror beings that are difficult to comprehend. At the same time, when the world of Ilgara was on the brink, dragons returned and sort of took humanity under their wing, literally, I guess, and now you play as knights that have pledged their lives to the dragons, and in the same way that you would to the king, and then you have become dragon knights, and you shoulder the responsibilities of keeping the rest of humanity safe as one of the last bastions of humankind, a city called Refuge. That's where our story is going to take place, or the ruins outside. It's what's left of one of the major metropolis of the world before. You are the sort of squires, soon to be full knights of a knight captain. You're maybe like one or two missions away from, earning your proverbial wings, and yeah, you'll be joining kind of very waning ranks of the Dragon Knights. But unfortunately, you've just gotten word that your Knight Captain, who we're going to kind of make up a little bit together so you guys can be attached to them when I inevitably do something awful to them, your Knight Captain has gone missing, along with their dragon companion, and you have just gotten word that that's the case, and because the Dragon Knights are so spread thin, you are now responsible. Even though you have not fully ascended to knighthood, you are now responsible for going out into the wastes around Refuge, and you need to find them and bring them back. Whether they're dead or alive, you need to bring back evidence of what happened to them. And that's sort of where we're going to pick up.
Cool. Sounds good. I love a good fantasy versus Lovecraft situation.
Sure, yeah. A little bit of a Walking Dead vibe too, or that type of thing where we, people are the real monsters and stuff. Although in this, the monsters are also the real monsters. So, yeah. I know that you guys have, we have some pre-made characters for you, and you hopefully have had a chance to kind of review. And if you want to maybe popcorn around, I'll popcorn over to Graeme, put Graeme on the spot. Tell us a little bit of what in one sentence or less, a bit about what you imagine your character to be like.
Absolutely. My pre-made character was the warrior, but there's some cool things listed out. So some of the abilities I'm going to have during the game revolve around like being a hunter and stalking around. Not the traditional warrior that you think with like big muscles and a big sword, but I'm going to be probably sneaking around, using my abilities to track things down. We'll see how it goes. So I chose the name Ventrin because everything with a V name sounds sneakier in my mind. And yeah, I'm deciding. I think I'm going to let the character kind of evolve as the dice do. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Awesome. Ventrin, good name.
Sorry, Graeme, your character's name begins with a V.
That's right.
Okay, I'm gonna change mine for the sake of ease.
Huh.
Or you could all have names that start with a V, and...
I already picked one that doesn't. I have a name that starts with V every day, so...
Fair enough.
Okay, so I have a mage character. They're gonna be called Meridian, they, them. And they are a Wormstone sorcerer who has been trained in the wielding of Wormstone to connect with the ancient magics of the land, which come naturally to dragons. My whole thing is I'm gonna be doing magic. I'm gonna be doing like stealth calls, and I'm also kind of terrifying because I have a stone of Exegol, and that is very exciting to me because it's like it gives me access to those powers. But it says that Exegol's contempt for his lessers may bleed through, so I'm kind of like teetering on the edge of like a corruption arc here. I kind of think that I might not think too much of our captain because maybe like they must have been weak to have been captured or wherever it was. So it'd be fun.
Interesting.
Yeah. So maybe we can win me back with the power of friendship, or maybe maybe the captain is just we'll see.
You're asking a lot for this one shot, but I'm glad that we have some goals.
Yes, I've got.
And Alex, how about you?
Yeah, I'm a dragon. Hi. So
what?
One of the what? You knew. One of the pre-made characters for this little adventure here is a dragon, described as a younger dragon, nearly full-grown. So his name is Zidirion, is the name I came up with, and he is a sort of, much like the other player characters, he is a war drake in training, nearing the end of his training, and has thus also been called upon to go try to find the missing knight. One of the things that you asked me to describe here is, as a dragon, what do I look like? I kind of went for, actually on a similar note as Graeme, kind of going away from sort of the typical in-your-face, loud thing that you might expect from a warrior or from a dragon. I've gone for kind of a dark gray scale pattern with like some purple accents, kind of a shadowy coat. I don't know. Hide. That's the word. Imagining that he would be sort of an ambush predator, more so than anything else, especially given his small size for a dragon.
Nice.
Alrighty. Yeah. I imagine in this world, there's lots of, in our world sparks, there's lots of sort of holes for you to fill in. They're really just jumping off points. And so the way I imagine it is that the dragons that you might expect from, say, a classic fantasy world, they all might be here, and they have different motivations for why they are helping. So you don't necessarily need to be like the best of the best or lawful good golden dragon kind of thing.
Right.
So yeah, I like that there's some, it makes sense that there's some nuance there. Okay. We'll start with you standing at the foot of Refuge, the Unfallen City. This is, you can imagine, sort of concentric circles of walls around a big central city center, and it was built into the side of a bluff, like a mountain or a cliffside type thing, and not much is left of the city the further that you go out. It used to be a city of class division. Classically, the closer you got to the middle, the probably more well-off that you were. But since the Abhorrent arrived, the world has sort of been leveled as far as class goes, and you either work together or die. And so, what was once the opulent part of Refuge is now just what's left of the city, and it has been maybe a decade since the Abhorrent came, and things have been shored up and patched up as best as you can, and now it's about reclaiming more of the city, heading out into the ruins and the outer rings of the city, and trying to slowly regain ground. And that's where beyond generally protecting people, that's the main task of the Dragon Knights. The dragons themselves, there are 3 that sort of the ancient dragons, we can call them, that protect the city. There are 3 of them. Exegol we mentioned before, sort of a more shady type character. Motivations are less known. Voltandis, who I see as a little bit more of a... they tend to be more about healing and protection and things like that. They're very calm, wise type dragon. And then there is Galara, who is the queen of the dragons, and she is the the pinnacle that you would expect. The platinum dragon that was the first one to land in the city to show that the dragons were here to support. And you are in this bluff that the city is sort of built into. The dragons have this sort of massive cavern that they come out of and look out over the city. And this is where people come to meet and commune with them. And the 3 of you are all tiny comparatively, standing at the base of this this cliffside, looking up at the long silvery platinum neck and head of Queen Galara as she delivers this solemn news to you about your missing knight, Sir Vanir. She looks down at you. She's the symbol of hope and purity and honesty in this place, and she has like a single pearlescent tear drip down her face when she says, "We fear that your knight has been lost, and you are now tasked to go find him."
Gasp. Dragon gasp.
Do we know what their mission was?
They were on a patrol. Patrols are unfortunately one night at a time. One dragon knight is on patrol solo. And when they have it available, a dragon, if they have a dragon companion with them. So at most 2 people out. It was just supposed to be a standard patrol. They were supposed to be back this morning to help with your next round of training regimen. feel free to address any other questions
Yeah.
to Queen Galera as well, if you like.
How far were they patrolling?
They were meant to be out in the furthest ring, just before the last wall, before the actual wastelands proper. It is the most difficult within the walls of refuge, but I know, like, an experienced knight like Sir Rainier, it's a fairly rudimentary exercise as far as they're concerned. That's why I'm very worried that them not coming back could also mean something worse coming our way.
What were the dangers of the mission?
The dangers that we face every day. The constant wave of the abhorrent trying to take back territory that we have scraped away from them. The corruption spreads even in places that we thought we had cleaned. The patrol is something that he did every day, in one shift or another. So I'm concerned for his safety foremost, and of his dragon, of course. But any night that falls is a hole in the wall of protection around refuge.
We should probably gather our things and head out right away if we're to be the ones to find them.
I don't have any things. I'm ready to go.
A dragon travels light, it's true. I do have one thing that might be able to aid you. Their dragon, who you know is named Brella, she recently molted, and we were able to collect one of her scales. And she, a small drake, like very, something like a familiar-sized dragon, drifts out of the cave and flies down to you. And they're carrying something that you recognize as a dragon scale compass. It's a way to usually it's used to keep track of where a dragon is while they're on a scouting mission or something like that. And to help people get an idea, of where threats are based on where the dragon is. And you place a dragon scale in it, and it helps track the location of it. And so it drifts down in front of you. One of you can grab it, and it is a tool that you'll be able to use to help track and locate the dragon.
Feels like a wizard thing.
Then maybe I should take it. Well, yeah. I mean, I will. I'll take it and kind of examine it. I'll kind of hold it in one hand, hold it up to the glint of the amethyst ring that I am wearing, and just for a second, the ring kind of like there were like veins, very like electric blue veins in the ring that light up very briefly when I touch it.
That's spooky stuff.
Yeah.
The things you know about the dragon scale compass, it can be used to detect other things, but it's tuned to the specific dragon that's in there. You would need to kind of push it outside of push the magic, the enchantments that imbue it, sort of outside of its wheelhouse a little bit.
I think we can do that.
But as far as tracking down Brella, it should serve you well. And you can mark this on your sheet as a temporary focus trait. And I'll quickly use this opportunity to explain to you all what a focus trait is, and what traits are generally. You'll see your character sheet's got 3 core traits: body, mind, and soul, and each one of them has a die assigned to it. It's shift die, and in the case of those dice, it's maximum shift die, which I'll explain. And then you've got a couple of focus traits, which should look like, zoomed in abilities, like a collection of skills and stuff that you can do that represent more, in like a classic RPG, like your class or your background or your equipment. And they also have dice assigned to them, and whenever you'd like to take an action, whenever you'd like to do something in the game, you'll choose one of your core traits, and then it's always one of the 3, and we'll discuss based on the action and what you want to do. And then if you have a focus trait that applies, you'll get to roll that as well. And then you'll roll 1 or 2 dice. Usually you're aiming to try and roll 2 dice. And then if either of those dice show a 1, 2, or 3 on the result, you succeed at the roll. So rolling more dice obviously is a better chance at succeeding. This trait is it's called Dragon Scale Compass. It's got a D8 as its die. If you want to add this to your sheet, Sebastian.
Yep, I've got it.
And then it's got the keywords reveal and track. And it has the drawbacks tuned to a specific dragon, which is Brella. And keywords, core traits don't have them. Focus traits have keywords. The keywords represent what you've really practiced with that ability. And then drawbacks, which are things that are more assigned during the game as an optional thing. They represent exactly what it sounds like. A spear might be bent, have a bent drawback, and that'll make it difficult to do certain things, like throwing it, for example, might be harder to do if it's bent. As long as what you're trying to do reasonably falls within the keywords, you're fine. You roll the dice as normal. If you're trying to do something that falls outside of the keywords or triggers one of the drawbacks, in this case using the Dragon Scale Compass to try and do something that isn't looking for that specific dragon, Brella, the roll will be risky, which means, I haven't explained the fail state of dice. If you roll anything that isn't...
We can get there when we,
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that. If you can always try to do something that is outside the keywords, but it will be more risky, which is a capital R mechanic, which we'll get to when you inevitably try and break things. Okay. Queen Galera says, "I must return to the others, to the knight captains that remain. I need to continue giving them orders. Please, for your sake and ours, bring Rainier back." And she kind of recoils back into the cave, into the massive cavern that they use as a home and a meeting place.
It seems it might be prudent to draw out the magic in this Dragon Scale Wayfinder.
See if it points us in the right direction.
So, Jordan, can I do a focus trait thing with it?
Do a focus trait thing with it? Yes. Let me set the scene a little further here.
Okay. Yep.
You'll have to make it. The last sort of. Where his patrol was. So there's the central place where you were being addressed by Queen Galera, and then there is one wall and a second wall, and then there's the third wall, which is in the worst disrepair of all of them. And he was patrolling between that second and third wall which is basically like just ruins. And you'll need to make your way there. You also have an option. You can try and track down Rainier specifically based on what you know about your knight captain. And as you're walking there, I want to ask a couple of questions of you guys. Or you can track down the dragon. Obviously, the dragon will be easier, potentially, with the use of this, but...
I mean, in theory, if we find the dragon, we find the knight. I assume it's not going to be that easy. They've probably been separated. But she would be more on his trail than we would.
It's true. Anything is possible, though. And the option is yours. You are more intimately familiar, maybe, with your knight captain, but the dragon is easier to track. So I want to ask each of you just to tell me what you think of your knight captain. By default, you're sort of indoctrinated into the knights from a young age, like classic knights of yore. Like at 7 you become a page, and then at 14 you become a squire. And so you've been under Rainier's wing for a long time, and in some form or another, and they generally don't knight captains don't look at their position as being your superior. They treat it more as a mentor, maternal or paternal figure, or sometimes like older sibling is what they kind of go for. They're not trying to force anything onto anyone, but they also want to make sure how important it is that the knights, the dragon knights, keep existing. Otherwise, the city will fall. But they try and use more of the carrot than the stick when it comes to training. So a lot of people are very loyal to their knight captains, but the three of you are independent, and you can choose to I just want a little detail from each of you about how you feel about Souvenir. So let's start with, let's go in the reverse order of our character introductions. Let's go with Alex.
Sure. I think Zidirian respects that Souvenir is a good warrior, a strong fighter. But since Zidirian has a sort of a tendency towards stalking and stealth, he finds him to be a bit too bold and brash and reckless at times. And he perhaps wishes he were more careful.
Interesting. Okay, I like that. All right, how about you, Sebastian? You mentioned a little bit. So yeah, tell us again a little bit about what Meridian thinks of Souvenir.
Initially, the indoctrination worked. I had a great deal of respect for him. But ever since I stumbled upon the Stone of Exegol, Stone has been slowly changing my view of my knight captain. I think that this incident, one more sign of weakness or one more mistake will lose him my respects. I am going to find him just because I do need him in order to move up the ranks. But he's on thin ice, for lack of a better term.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I secretly believe that if I were to rise to his station, I would make a much better knight captain.
Excellent. All right, and Graeme, what does Ventran think?
Okay, so I just have to confirm. Alex, did you say that your character wishes that Souvenir is more careful, or the opposite? Sorry, that Souvenir wishes that you were more careful.
I wish he were more careful. I think I kind of envision it as a thing where, like, even though I'm not a full-sized, full-grown dragon, you're still all small to me. And I'm like,
yeah.
Wait, why aren't you being more fucking careful? You're all so small. Like,
okay, that fits perfectly. I was gonna flip it if it was the opposite, but my character being dubbed a warrior, but also kind of aligning themselves more with being sneaky and stuff. I think I probably have a similar situation to you, Alex, where I see Souvenir as this like bold, shining example. A character that jumps headfirst into danger, and I like to do things the other way, despite Souvenir's encouragement for me to jump in. I'm probably likely to be last one to move in, maybe with a bow instead of a sword, or I think I might even decide to use a shovel as my weapon. I'm not gonna lie, based on some of the traits I have listed here.
Okay, so it's interesting. You three are maybe not so surprised that he got in trouble.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah,
felt like a matter of time. He's always poking the bear.
Yeah. Okay. He's taken on the role of the front-facing paladin tank, and now it's bit him in the butt. Okay. Nice. I like how I set it up that like most people really see their knight captains as shining examples, and you're like, we're disappointed in this guy regularly.
Don't get me wrong. I love shining paladin for him.
Right.
Couldn't be me.
But it doesn't suit the rest of you. Perfect. That's hilarious. All right. You find yourselves now in that sort of last ring, the part of the city that is really just rubble and debris and collapsed walls. When the abhorrent came, they literally just like tore through the fabric of reality and came spilling out from some world, ethereal world beyond the veil of time and space, and where they go, they sort of spread destruction in the form of like just this corrupting, crackling purple energy that just opens little voids everywhere. That, like, at a minimum, that's what happens. They also corrupt creatures and change worm into people's minds. And this outer ring is the part of the city that is least in control from all of that. Beyond that third wall is the wasteland where the abhorrent and their spawn run rampant. But this is the last sort of area to secure to really be able to say that refuge is safe. So as you move through the rings of the city, you get down to this place that is a real reminder of the destructive power of what happened and what could happen. And most of the city used to look like this if it weren't for the dragons and the knights working to rebuild it over the past 10 years. And you make your way to the last spot that, at the very least, where he would have started his patrol. And so you're provided with two options here. You can start looking for the dragon or for Brella, or you can start trying to find signs of Souvenir. It's up to you what you want to do. In Shift, objectives and everything, all threats and everything are represented by traits themselves. So I've got two traits here, one that represents tracking the dragon and one that represents tracking your knight captain. And as you take action rolls, when they succeed, you'll interact with these, shifting the dice down to their next worst. And when the dice run out, you'll have found what you're looking for. In Shift, the dice go in reverse order from what you might normally expect. A D4 is the best die. You'll note that you each have one focus trait that has a D4 as its max die. And then shifting down means to the next larger die. D4 to D6, D6 to D8, to D10, to D12. And then when you get to D12, if you have to shift down again because you've been targeted by something or you've rolled a critical failure, then that trait exhausts, is what we call it. In the case of like these tracking traits, they're just done. They're completed. You can sort of think of them as like clocks a little bit from Blaze in the Dark.
Yeah.
Clocks that can kind of bite back. Because I can roll these. They can represent the danger of the journey that you're on. And when you fail, I could roll these to have to see if negative effects happen, or if you're not careful, a ruin might collapse or something like that. Right. So it sounds like you are focused on finding the dragon first. I think that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
You have been given
I think low key we like the dragon more.
Yes, I think so.
Right.
I think maybe I even probably have delusions of grandeur, and I think that maybe I imagine myself riding that very dragon, that kind of thing.
I will hammer home the importance of bringing some evidence of the knight back, though. You can't just ditch him out here. Okay. Mostly because you would be disappointing Galera, who's the one that kind of will inevitably be the one who knights you officially. So.
Oh no, I need I won't be that. I need him for my plans.
Right. Excellent. Scheming and dreaming over there. All right. So yeah, let's get our first action roll on the docket. And Sebastian, you mentioned that potentially you wanted to make a roll, see if you can use this compass that Galera gave you. So let's put a roll together using that.
Yes. So one of my keywords is intimidate. I think it would be very funny if I were to kind of try and brute force the magic out of the out of the Dragon Scale Wayfinder just by sheer, hey, I'm showing up with the Stone of Exegol, and you better listen to me, kind of thing.
Okay. You're gonna just skip over sort of the normal use of it and try and
Yes, I am.
bend it to your will. Okay?
Yes, I am. I'm full of hubris and also reckless, so I think that would be fine.
Yeah, I'm starting to get that. So yeah,
yes.
let's put together our first action roll. So as I mentioned before, you always take one of your core traits. So you're going to choose body, mind, or soul. Body is your kind of physical abilities. It covers both. It could represent your physical strength, but it also could represent your dexterity or your nimbleness, or also your ability to resist illness and things. It's sort of strength, dexterity, and constitution all jammed into one thing. And then mind is everything to have to do with that. It's your ability to remember things, logic. It's also maybe your ability to focus and aim. Firing a crossbow could easily be mind over body. And then soul is your connection to other living things, sentient things, but also maybe your empathy for animals and plants as well.
So
As
your
that goes
charisma,
down.
wisdom. Yeah.
Yeah, but also, especially in settings like this, soul is your sort of overall connection to other people. And as that gets worse, and your traits do go up and down as you play shift, it sort of could represent you getting more and more alienated from other people, or your faith in people or your trust in people kind of waning. So, Sebastian,
Yes.
what core trait do you think you want to use for this?
I'm going to go with mind.
Okay. This is just a pure battle of wills.
Yes, it's pure battle of will, and I'm trying to bend it to my will. I just want to show up in all my massive galaxy brain glory and try to overpower it and get the magic to do what I want it to do.
Okay. And so the trait that you're using, the focus trait that you're going to use is called what?
Stone of Exegol.
All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. So go ahead and grab the die that's associated with your mind trait and the one associated with the stone, and give them a roll.
Yes, so I'm rolling a d6 for mind and a d4 for the stone.
Perfect.
That is 2 3s.
2 3s. All right. As long as one of the dice shows a 3, a 1, 2, or 3, that's a success. The stone of Exegol kind of crackles, and little tendrils of dark magic spill out of it, and the compass, like the scale that's representing the
I want to say
arrow.
that it starts to spin.
It's what, sorry?
Oh, I want to say that it starts to spin, yeah.
Yeah. It was moving in a natural way, like that you'd expect from a compass, and then it sort of vibrates violently, and then like stops, like ramrod straight, pointing in a very specific direction. But it's in the same way that someone who you've seen people's minds kind of get controlled and taken over by the abhorrent, where they are just acting normally at one moment and then are frozen and moving as though being puppeted by someone else. It's that kind of effect that's on it. It's almost like the scale is trembling in fear inside the compass. So we're a successful action roll targeted against the tracking the dragon trait. We'll shift that trait down by 1. Normally, if we were playing in person, or if we had a VTT up, I would have these on the board in the same way that you would have a clock out in Blades in the Dark. And so I will let you know that the D8 trait of tracking the dragon is now at a D10.
Dope.
And so you start to make your way into the ruins. You make your way into the ruins, and
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I have a sense for danger, so the GM may also tell you if an area is under the influence of one of the abhorrent when you enter such an area. This does not use up my ability for the session. Can you tell me if it is under the influence of an abhorrent when we go into this area?
As you enter into as you start moving through the ruins, I will say this. You find the first sort of evidence of the dragon that you find are scrape marks along the ruin walls that are clearly like a staggering creature, staggering dragon, like losing its footing and slamming up against one of the walls, and Brella's blue scales like leaving a blue streak of scrape across the wall. That's sort of the first evidence that you find that you're on the right track. But to answer your question, inside where you would expect to maybe see a little bit of a streak of blood or that sort of thing, you're seeing also mixed in there that kind of purple crackling void energy that definitely indicates that they may have had a run-in, if not with a full-blown abhorrent, but with one of the abhorrent's spawn, which wander these places. Under the control of them, almost, but it's certainly their presence is here, and as something has mingled, maybe Brella is wounded by a spawn, by being attacked by a spawn, and that's why the void energy and the blood is mixed together. So Meridian and Zidirion, mouthfuls of names. Sorry, Ventrin and Zidirion. What are you two doing as Meridian bends this compass to their will?
Oh, I was going to say, since perhaps we found dragon scales and maybe even a little bit of dragon blood, can I, like, bloodhound this a little bit?
Yeah, that makes sense. You are a creature of many senses, and you know your own kind, so that makes sense. So why don't you go ahead and put together a roll as well?
So yeah, I definitely want to use my Wasteland Nomad, because that has stalk as one of its keywords, and I feel like this kind of falls under that category.
Totally.
And then where are we? Body, mind, and soul. I suppose body makes enough sense on its own. I am sniffing. And that has a d6.
Sure. There's an argument for soul as well. You did say that you maybe liked the dragon a little more. Maybe you've spent more time with Brella than with Rainier. But, you know, using your sort of raw animalistic nature, you can certainly make a case for body. So, yeah, go ahead and roll the... You said it was a d6 in body and a d4 in the Wasteland Wanderer? Okay, so go ahead and roll both those dice, and let's see what they get.
That's a 3 on body and then a 1 on Nomad.
All right. A 1 on any die is a critical success. So as long as, if you see a 1, then you know that you've done well on this roll. You have a few options when you roll a critical. You can
Where's that page?
The main thing is you can get like a narrative boost of some kind. You get the best possible result for what you're doing, or another perk or piece of information, especially in like an investigation like this, that could be handy. But alternatively, you can also, if you're going up against a trait, if you're interacting with a trait, you can shift it down an extra time. A regular success shifts it once, and a critical can be spent to shift it down again.
Yes, I saw that option there. Shift an adversary's trait down twice. So you said it's at D10, and so in theory I can make it go to D12 and then dead, effectively.
Yeah.
Ergo, we find her.
You kill the investigation.
Right.
And
I think I'll just go with that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, you got there faster than maybe I was expecting, but that's all right.
That's okay. It's less that I have to edit.
All right. So you get the scent of Brella immediately. There is the metallic tang of blood that you kind of follow, but there's also some other smell, not organic, but something unnatural.
Smelly.
Yeah. Exactly. And the further you kind of get ahead of the other two, they're keeping up, trying to keep up with you. You like you said, you're a lot larger than they are, and you are grabbing onto surfaces that they can't climb. You're peering up over crumbled walls, and the destruction that you're following is the destruction that a dragon could that a dragon could wreak on things. Like, it's definitely like you're seeing scorch marks of their fire breath. You're seeing whole structures knocked down. Whatever Brella was doing here was either participating in a huge battle or something else terrible has happened. And the scene that you come across, you all freeze in place as you hear a dragon's roar just beyond the next sort of patch of ruins. There's something wrong with the sound it's making. There is sort of that guttural animal noise, but then there is also something that sounds like a stone avalanche spilling down a mountainside. Heavy rocks being dragged and screeching across each other. It's a terrible noise. It's a noise that you usually hear from the spawn of the abhorrent. And as you peer around, the ruins, you see your knight captain first, pressed up against a wall, a makeshift splint on his leg. But towering over him is Brella. You can see like up her tail and her legs. She is starting to transform. That warping void energy is changing her, and you are worried. You are concerned that she has become stone lost, which is when the abhorrent find their way, whittle their way into sentient beings and sort of convert them into minions of the abhorrent. Dragons have the crystal, the stone of Exegol, for example, that Meridian has. Those stones are actually formed by the dragons as part of them. In the same way that they have scales, they will also grow gems and things like this. Once they've grown their first one, and it can be removed and gifted, and it's a source of great power. It's sort of like getting a piece of that dragon's power. They can painstakingly create more of them. And the period between a new gem kind of forming and one being removed is a risky one. It's sort of like having their mind open invasion. And you remember Brella saying that she recently gifted one of her stones to an up-and-coming knight captain. And perhaps she was caught in this weakened state. At a glance, it looks as though she's trying to fight it. All of the damage you've seen was her thrashing and slamming against walls and trying to, like an animal trapped in a hunter's trap, like thrashing to try and get out. So yeah, you found the dragon. It's a tragic sight. What would you like to do?
So you said our knight is also there, just kind of like...
Yes, it appears to have a broken leg. He's got a makeshift splint that he's assembled on his leg. He's up against the wall, but nowhere to go between the thrashing dragon and the wall.
Right. Between a dragon and a hard place, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If I had a nickel for every time.
Do we have a way to save her? Like, have we seen this before? I'm asking quietly to the rest of our crew here.
You do not need to have seen something before in order to solve it.
That's the attitude.
Yes.
How big is Brella relative to us and to me?
Brella is a full-blown dragon.
Okay.
So here's where I'll sort of introduce. This is a new rule that it will be new in the core rules, but hasn't really been seen by a lot of people, where we distinguish between creatures of different sizes. And you'll notice on your sheet,
yes,
Alex, that you have an ability that lets you scale up one of your traits. Your Wardrake trait, I believe, can be scaled up. That's to represent your size and your ability to interact with things that are bigger. Everything in Shift has... and Graeme, this has been flipped since you were last working on the rules. we're starting to use power for the name of the actual like strength, like power level of the
Nice.
adversaries, and scale is now representing how actually big they are. As characters, you are all considered scale 1, meaning if you're up against other people your size, everything works normally. If you're going up against a thing that is one scale bigger than you, which Brella is, she is a scale 2 adversary.
Gotcha.
Then you need critical successes only on the dice to be able to actually affect her. Or you can use your ability to temporarily increase the scale of your ability to kind of treat yourself on the same level as her briefly. So in order to get the upper hand in situations like this, you're either going to roll normally and try and get lucky, or you want to get into situations where you get the upper hand, or you create a situation that I could treat as scale 2. Like, for example, if you manage to scrounge up the remains of a ballista that used to protect the wall or something, then we could say, oh, the ballista is scale 2 for sure, and now you're on the same level as this creature. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
And one of the other ways that characters can also interact with it is, we haven't had it happen yet, but when you roll the highest result on a die, your die shifts down. That's where the dice gets named. So if you roll a 6 on a d6, it changes to a d8. And that's the name of the game. When that happens, you earn an experience point.
Okay,
shifting down.
Failure experience, gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. You fail forward in that way. A new mechanic that we've introduced to interact with this scale mechanic is that you can spend 2 experience points live at the table to treat your next roll as scale 2. It's like the wizard calling on extra power in order to be able to, and experience literally, to be able to increase the capacity of that fireball that they're flinging, so that it's easier for them to interact with this bigger thing. So as you shift down your dice, keep track of the XP on your sheet, and you'll be able to spend that if you want to get the upper hand here. So you have your job cut out for you. To answer your question, you have heard about Stone Lost, worms becoming Stone Lost, but maybe it's something that you haven't seen before. And the stories, knights always talk in like mythical ways about the things that happen, but the stories are that creatures don't come back from this. They become monsters, and that's all that they can be. So this is a disturbing, upsetting sight for sure.
Yeah, that's a problem. So then in that case, without an immediate way to cure the dragon, could we either calm her in some way, at least temporarily, or distract her to get our knight friend out of there, since he's suffering from some impaired mobility?
Yeah, so there's 2 ways, kind of core ways that you can interact with an adversary. One is to go full flung into an encounter with them, and that's when you're going toe to toe. But each adversary also has an attitude trait, which represents sort of where their goals and mindset is in this moment. If you're outside of an encounter, you can try and exhaust that attitude trait, which then allows you to change it. So if say you are convinced in this moment that maybe you can't change her, but you can convince her to leave before things get really bad, then maybe you will talk to her about that attitude, talk to her and in hopes of affecting her attitude trait and shifting it and exhausting it. Or if you're trying to scare her or intimidate her, that would be you going after the attitude trait. Once you tell me what your goal is, and when you exhaust that attitude trait, you change the keyword that's associated with it to what you're intending to do, and then she'll start acting towards that attitude instead. Once a fight starts, you can still try and affect their attitude. It just makes it a lot harder when they're also breathing fire at you. So, it's up to you what you'd like to do. Think about what your characters would do in the situation, and we'll go from there.
So Ventrin's not so great with words, but
Are any of us, frankly?
Yeah, I certainly think I am.
I believe Meridian, but I'm sneaky. I'm known to have survived a round or two with things larger than myself. I'm thinking that I could probably distract them long enough to, I guess, allow the two of you to calm her.
Well, here's what I'll say.
of
Do you
some
think you and me could kind of juggle her attention? So you have a bow, right? You said, like an archer, ranger type guy.
Yeah.
So then, could you hop on a rooftop? 100 feet away or whatever, and just start peppering her with arrows, and then I'll come around behind her and kind of not fight her properly, but bite at an ankle or a tail, just to keep her spinning. And not really engage fully, right? Just enough to trade attention back and forth.
And then
Kind of teamwork our way through that, and then you can go get the injured fellow.
Oh, you want me to get the? Oh, I was thinking I could draw the magic out while she's distracted, but yeah, I can.
If you think you can do that, fantastic. But
I mean, I think I can do anything because hubris.
well, yes,
So,
that's true.
Because
Yeah.
you're Meridian.
You do think you
Yes.
can do anything.
I'd be able to do anything. Yeah. So yeah, if you could try Jake's power. Yeah, take the power of the dragon, and then we can go get the guy. Maybe?
I think so. With Souvenir, you said he's in rough shape, and there's a giant dragon looming over him at the moment, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and Brella is obviously trying to fight this infection, and failing. She doesn't want to harm Rinier. She doesn't want to harm
okay.
anyone that. Yeah.
Okay, so she's still a little bit here. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's still a bit of personality.
Yeah.
Brella's still there for now.
Yeah, but she's struggling. You're on a timer. It feels like.
Okay, I think that changes my want a little bit. I think I'd like to probably try to get as close as possible and investigate to see if there's is there something that is on her that's causing this? Is it in her? My hands are going to be pretty tied if it's entirely magical, but if there's something I can do or something I can pull off, then I'd probably
Sure.
like to try that.
You want to get in closer and maybe take a look.
Yeah, exactly. Just see if there's anything I can do up close, because that's probably... Yeah, I'm pretty confident in my ability to get in and out, and we'll see how that plays out.
Sure.
At the very least, it'll be a funny turn if that turns out to not be true.
Yeah. Someone's got to
except
be
on-
the first one to walk close to the
So,
screwed up dragon.
yeah, I'll roll my body die, which is a d6. It's my strongest core trait. And then I also have Ruin's Crow, which allows me to investigate. So I'll try to get in close. So that and that's my best focus trait. So it's a d4, we said, yeah?
Yep.
Great.
Go
so
for it.
d4 and a d6. Let's see. I got 2 1s.
Holy heck. All right.
Holy moly.
So, you're not going after a specific trait in this case. You're just trying to get a closer without being caught, and you certainly do that. Brella is so
You're going to be distracted,
lost.
probably.
Yeah. So lost in attempting to shake this off. It's terrifying because as you're getting closer, you're really seeing her scale up close. Pun not intended. And you, she is throwing her whole body weight against this stone wall, like a cat, or like an animal that's got something on it that it doesn't want on
sure.
it anymore, right? But you got a crit, so we'll say that I'll give you kind of 2 bennies as you get close beyond the regular information. So you get in and you can see that there is a chunk of onyx bone or nail or something, some piece of a creature is stuck in her back haunch, her on her left side, and that is sort of the source of the void that is spreading all over her and turning
Almost like
her
a
into
toxin.
this. Yeah, it's a corruption that is from a poor like an unfortunate interaction with the spawn of an abhorrent, and it's spreading rapidly. But you do see the source of it, or at least what appears to be the source. And I'll give you the other Benny will be that Sir Rainier notices you, but in like a useful way, right?
Sure.
Not that you,
Notices usefully.
You're able to get you're able to get his attention without alerting Brella to your presence.
Gotcha.
And he's a brash guy, but he also knows when it's good not to yell out.
I'll try to take that opportunity before I kind of like wrap up what I'm doing. As Brella is like thrashing around, I try my best to gesture towards where I last left the group while I'm like dodging the thrashes and trying to basically just trying to come up with a plan for this corrupted thorn type thing.
Let's say I have an idea for that, but
Sure. Well, we can hop over to you, Zadirion, if you've got something you'd like to try and do.
yeah, if I'm now aware of the thorn.
Sure.
I figure.
I assumed you two were maybe like Scooby-Doo peeking around the wall.
Right. Yeah.
The subtitle said
going on.
gestures usefully.
Yeah.
I figure being a dragon myself and like knowing the way that dragons move, I could get in there, bite it and yank it out. She's obviously too big of a thing for me to just fight head on, right, and like actually beat, but I figure I have enough dragon power to just dive in, grab this one quick bite, and then dip back out again, and maybe she'll calm down a little.
I believe.
Sure. I like this, and I'm gonna improvise a little here, since you guys, since every good group of players always picks Plan F, even though I wrote for Plan A to E. We're gonna treat the thorn, the literal abhorrent thorn in her side, as another one of those traits that you're up against.
Okay.
So you're gonna need a few successes to kind of get it out of there. It's a D8, removing the thorn, and if it goes wrong, this die may get rolled to represent it affecting you from coming into contact with it, or that type of thing. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
All right.
I'm gonna do it anyway. So I figure definitely body, because it's sort of an acrobatic maneuver.
Mm-hmm.
And then, would you say this falls under stalk still, or should I go more for the ferocious with the Wardrake feature?
What is your kind of approach? Is it really just getting in there and yanking it out, or yanking on it as hard as you can?
Pretty much. I just figure he's, a little bit stronger than a normal human, so.
I don't think the element of surprise is really going to be what's helping you here. I think it's the Wardrake.
Sure.
The Wardrake. Yeah.
Okay, so that's 2d6.
So, if you've got two different colored d6,
yes, I do. Yeah.
You just need to keep track of which one is attached to which, because you can have one die shift down and the other one succeed.
Right.
And getting these sort of mitigated successes, you need to keep track of what did what.
And now, because I'm attacking the thorn, do I have to worry about the scale situation?
No, I'll treat the interaction with the thorn. You guys have observed the situation and found something that you think might be able to change the tide, and so I'll treat this as just a regular scale thing for now.
So 2d6. I say the black d6 is body, the blue d6 is Wardrake. Well, it doesn't matter which color is which, because they're both 3.
Okay.
Hey.
Hot dice
Nice.
tonight. So that is a success. Do you just pull yourself up over top of the wall and sort of swoop down to grab onto it?
Yeah, pretty much. I figure she's like larger enough than me that like I can kind of run in, put my mouth around it, and then put all 4 limbs on her leg and push and pull with my mouth. Like a dog pulling on a chew toy.
Excalibur.
See where that gets me. Yeah.
Perfect. You come out of nowhere and you grab onto her side. You know that she is stronger than you and that she can handle a couple of couple of claws in her side if it means that you can help her.
Yeah.
And you grab onto that thorn and start to pull. And the resistance that it gives you is surprising. You think that this thing might be barbed or serrated or something like to really stick in there, but you feel it budge. Of course, Brella notices that you're there and lets
Notices
out...
me unhelpfully.
Yeah, notices you unhelpfully, and lets out a roar that is more corrupted than not, unfortunately, as her long neck swoops around to see you.
I'm just like biting it and like looking sideways.
Yeah, it's like the cat that has stolen some of your lunch and is trying to decide if they're going to put it down or not. Yeah. She growls and says, "Zadirian, how dare you harm me?"
I'll be like, actually, it's this. I'm trying to help you.
She like thrashes once against the wall and says, "There's no saving me. Save yourself."
Well, have I distracted her enough that the captain is...
There's a conversation happening here a little bit, a heated one, I suppose. But yeah, you can someone could probably get in there. Meridian, are you going to take on the task of getting to the Knight Captain?
I was going to try and actually just pull the magic out of the dragon.
Pull the magic out of the
I say
dragon.
go for it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right.
I will say that the scale of that situation is quite big. And instead of it just being that you just in one roll drain all the magic out and save them, I'm going to say that you kind of you pull back. If you're successful, you'll help pull back on it, and it will make Zadirian's next attempt to pull it out inspired, which is our version
That'd
of
be good.
Having advantage. Any success on an inspired roll is a critical success.
Okay, super happy to do that. Yeah.
But if you fail, obviously there might be consequences to the person who is touching the thorn.
Yes. I as a player, I'm very much having consequences, but my character is just like, nah, I got this. It's just a little bit of darkness. Like, fine. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So what are you rolling here?
I would like to roll the Stone of Exegol using the keyword darkness, and I would like to use soul for this one, which is
Okay.
less good than my mind, but I would like to do that.
But I think that definitely makes sense for what the connection is here.
Yeah.
I'm also going to, just for the sake of introducing all of the rules, I'm going to make the roll. I'm going to say the roll is risky. This is the scale of things. You're pushing against something that is a lot bigger than you think that the Meridian thinks that it's very easy. Yeah. But the Stone of Exegol maybe doesn't think it's that easy. So risky rolls for those following along at home are the odds of success are the same. A 1, 2, or 3 is a success, but any failure, not just the highest result, is a critical failure, meaning any failure shifts the die down. So pushing yourself means a higher chance of losing resources.
Yeah.
There's no way that this can go wrong because
Yeah,
you've
I'm
only rolled
100%
so good this whole time.
Yeah.
I'm 100% going to do it.
Just, shake me.
And like the attempt kind of looks like me trying to pull the magic out of the dragon to convince it that actually it should. I kind of want to, because the stone is hungry is the thing, and I think that a little bit of dark magic would make a really tasty snack for it.
Perfect. So
yeah,
go ahead and make that roll.
Yeah, I'm going to try and entice the magic to go out of the dragon and come in the stone instead. So, let's see. Well, that is a 1 out of 4. So, alas, the risky situation.
All right. It is still a critical success, weirdly enough, that also comes along with a critical failure on one of the dice. Which
I love
what
it when
rolled?
this happens.
Yeah,
which one's
the 7-10 split of shifts. What went down? What shifted down? What got the 4?
Soul, because it's my bonus die, so it goes down to a d10. I got that.
Oh wow, okay. So that makes perfect sense. Because you are really opening yourself. You're calling it magic, but it's really like evil cosmic corruption from beyond time and space.
It's liquid hate.
Yeah. Liquid
my,
hate.
My
Yeah.
hubris. I skimmed the textbook and I think I'm great. So yeah, I don't understand this entity that I'm trying to draw into the stone fully.
Your eye, the stone of Exegol turns black, and your eyes spill over with an inky blackness as well, and you can see like where the corruption on the dragon like is getting, the veins of corruption are getting pulled back towards the thorn, but you do take some of it into yourself, and that's the soul shifting down. Like for a moment, your third eye or whatever is open to the power of the abhorrent, and it's just like screaming, wailing madness in your mind. But you're fine, and this will allow Zidirian's next roll to be inspired.
Yeah.
So if you want to take another attempt at pulling it out.
Yeah, I think I'll just do the same thing again. I think, I feel it loosening. I think the Rocky music starts playing in the background.
Sure, yeah.
And we'll see what happens here. That's a 1 and a 2.
Okay. That's another critical success.
We're flipping coins in this shift session.
Yeah.
Apparently, yeah.
Ones and twos.
I gotta say, just as an aside, like, ever since I've started recording playing TTRPGs, not just me, but everyone I play with, the dice rolls have been absolutely insane.
Heck yeah.
Everything is just
good, like really good.
Both.
All right. Well, something fun about shifts is that ones are good. So if you're the person who's always rolling ones, then maybe you'll be real aces at shift. I don't know.
This would have been a very different game if it was any other game. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't be happy about rolling a total of a 3 on 2d6.
Yeah. No, but this is great, and because even though you did roll the crit anyway, the roll is inspired, so any success would have counted as a crit. And that shifts the D10 to a D12 and then exhausts it as you pull the thorn from the side of Brella. She lets out a thrashing wail. It's painful, and there's a spurt of tainted blood that sprays out where the thorn gets removed.
For the sake of rolling dice, Jordan, how would you feel about me rolling a mind die?
To be terrified by all of this?
Yeah, I think this is probably one of the few times that I've been up close to all of this chaotic energy, at least so close to home with it.
Both of your companions are doing weird, messed up stuff too.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'll get a soul roll from Zidirian, because now you've got the thorn in your mouth. And then, sure, the voluntary mind roll from Graeme to see how you handle this nightmare scenario.
Really pushing the luck. So for me, my mind is actually my weakest.
Excellent.
My soul is
D-time.
my weakest, so this is going to be fantastic for both of us.
Right, 3, 2, 1. Oh. You know what? I can't speak for you, Zidirian, but we can't fail. I got a 2.
Well, I can't crit fail, at least. I got a 4.
Okay.
Which
all right.
I'll live with.
Yeah, there is definitely something spicy happening in your mouth, Zidirian. There is something you can feel the rotten energy on this thing. You spit it out?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's
Not
the right.
hanging
that's
on
the
to
right
it longer than I need to.
Yeah, and Ventrin.
It probably didn't taste good the entire time, but then with like the blood and stuff coming out with it, I'm like, oh, that's really bad. I got to put that down.
It's the wrong kind of seasoning for sure.
Yeah.
And Ventrin, what do you steel yourself against what you're seeing? What does that look like? Do you sort of cover your eyes and protect yourself from it, or do you watch it to understand what's going on? Like, how do you react?
Yeah, I think it all becomes a little much. I ran in there with bravado, was reminded pretty quickly of why I don't do that. So I think Ventrin probably tries to take cover behind a near rock or like fallen pillar, just to collect his thoughts and shake it out. pulling his hood over his head to try to block out the wailing sound that's been going on for a while now. And
Right.
I think at least in this moment, I managed to shake it off.
Okay. I mean, you're heartened. You pull it out, and Brella sort of staggers and falls up against the stone wall that she's been thrashing against. And it feels as though you've got a moment to breathe, but then you see that where the wound is on her side, the corruption starts to spread again, but slower than before. But still, it is moving up. But she, after her roar from the removal of it, is sort of stunned momentarily. Sir Rainier, I think, probably gestures at Ventrin. I mean, the one person that he's seen that gives you the "please come and get me" hand gesture. So, what would you like to do? Oh, add a drawback. Meridian, add a drawback to your Exegol. We're gonna call the drawback "blessed by the abhorrent."
Ooh, I do see no downside to this, but okay.
Mm-hmm.
Blessed is such a funny term.
Yeah, when you call it drawback blessed, it's fun.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, no, Radiant's kind of low-key happy about this, but we'll see.
Unlucky for you guys. Unlucky for you guys have been playing a lot of Darkest Dungeon 2 lately, so.
Sweet. I would like consequences for my actions. Thank you.
Of course, anytime. All right, so what's the plan here? You feel like you've got a few moments before Brella kind of comes back to her senses or lack of them, but you bought yourself some time.
If I see Veneer kind of gesturing for help, I'll run towards him and try to usher him out of danger. I got my body die, and then one of my keywords under my hunter focus trait is survive, and that's a D6. So I'm thinking maybe between the two of us, I can probably at least attempt to get us out of danger.
Sure.
I mean, he's got one bad leg. It can't be that hard to move. Yeah. The other leg
Yeah,
is fine.
So I think you get to him pretty easily. And he looks at you. He doesn't have his helmet on. His part of his armor is gone, been torn away or just rended from the rest of the plate.
Sure.
And cuts on his face, and he's bleeding through the bandage around his leg. And he goes, "Ventrin, I'm so happy to see you. My poor Brella. I don't know if there's anything we can do for her, but I can't help her in this state."
Best way to protect others is to protect yourselves first. Let's get you out of here, boss. And
Wise words.
I'm trying to drag him away for now.
All right. You can go ahead and make that roll. I'm gonna represent sort of the inconvenience of a man with a broken leg as a risky roll.
It's getting ridiculous. It was 2d6 and I got a 2 and a 3.
Okay.
Wow.
Play shift. You'll never fail a roll ever.
It's true.
But only if you record it and put it on the internet.
That's it. That's just it. Yeah.
All right. You scoop him up, and probably for the first time in ever spending time with him, you realize that he is wincing, and you're seeing weakness in him for the first time, beyond what some of you may interpret as weakness in him, but physical weakness is never something that you have seen him show, and
Sure.
And then there's also this devastated look on his face that again, he's always been this pillar of, not a tough guy, macho attitude, but sort of this pillar of hope and we're on the right side of things and we can persevere as long as we work together kind of attitude. And you can see how crestfallen he is.
Sure. Yeah, Ventrin probably views him kind of as the aspirational version of what we're supposed to be, which is the reason there was animosity there at all for Ventrin. But see him this is a little bit more real,
Yeah. Without his helmet on, you see the gray in his temples. You see the sort of roughness around his face and the injuries he's sustained in the line of duty. And so you half walk your mentor quickly over behind the barrier, or where everyone else was hiding. And I think at this point, Brella notices that you've moved him, and her head whips around, and for the first time you see that her eyes have turned black, and she lets out a roar.
Notices scarily.
Yeah, she notices you scarily. All right. I think for the sake of demonstrating a little bit more of the rules, we'll dive into encounter now. You've got Sir Rainier out of the way, but Brella seems to be, or at least for the time being, outside of the scope of our one shot, is maybe a little beyond your help, but you might be able to get her out of here at the very least, so she doesn't harm other people. So let's hop into an encounter as Brella, clearly her mind consumed with the evil of the abhorrent, turns towards you. Her flame breath, like with tainted, crackling, void energy spilling out of her mouth. The way encounters work, fairly simple. As when an encounter starts, and at the start of every round of an encounter, all player characters will roll one of their core traits to determine turn order. If you succeed on your core trait, you will act before the adversaries, in this case Brella, and if you fail the roll on your core trait, you will act after. These can crit, and they can also critically fail, so they can shift up and down. And at the start of each round of combat, we're going to roll one of our core traits again to represent the ever-changing state of the battlefield, and also the adrenaline being pushed and resources being burned through. All right, so if you can choose any one of them. You're not beholden to an action tied to that core trait, but it's just to represent how you're trying to prepare yourself and get yourself into the mindset for the next turn around of combat. So everyone choose one of your core traits and give it a roll. Just that die on its own.
Yeah, all right.
And let me know the results.
Oh, my hubris.
Yeah.
My mind. Because I was like, yeah, this is my best stat. There's no way I can fail. I rolled a 6 on the d6.
Okay.
I just got a regular
Finally
failure.
get a bad roll, yeah.
All right.
Rolled body and got a 3.
Okay, so Ventrin will be acting before Brella. Zadirian and Meridian will be acting afterwards.
Sorry, I do have a question before we move into that. I have regarding my technique. Would you say that we do not have advantage at the start of this encounter?
I would say no.
Okay, because
At least the way the scenario went.
yes,
I don't feel
my,
particularly advantaged. There's a giant dragon in front of me.
Yeah. I mean, just to confirm. Well, my sense for danger says that once per session, if your side does not have advantage at the start of an encounter, you may choose to give your side advantage. Because for all my hubris, I do in fact have a sense of self-preservation. I would like to remain alive to enjoy the fruits of my hubris, so therefore, sense of danger.
Sure, yeah. Techniques are like one use, or sometimes a couple uses, abilities that you have. Sure, if you want to cash that in now, that makes perfect sense. And so what that means is that you will all act in the first round. That's what having an advantage in the encounter is. So you'll all act in the first half, regardless of your rolls in this case.
I can still save this. I didn't embarrass myself.
All right, then.
Yeah. So now the three of you, we'll say that maybe you've got an awareness of the entity or the power that's consuming Brella, right? Because some of it is consuming you now.
Yeah.
And you're able to anticipate moves.
Yeah, I think we get the whole kind of people dilation, like you zoom out and see like the whole world, and I'm like, oh, I've got to fix this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sailing
all right.
across the universe.
Exactly. So now you all three will decide how you want to use this advantage. So you all act in the same round before Brella.
Does she still have a horrible gaping wound in her leg?
She does, yeah.
Fantastic.
And it's the source of where the corruption is spreading.
Fantastic.
It's also, importantly, not covered in magically strengthened dragon scales. So either, we do that, and we go for the traditional, it's a monster with 8 hit points, let's kill it. Or we do the try to talk to her thing, which seems a little harder because her eyes are like fully blacked out and everything, which is spooky.
My plan was to try to find a nearby pillar, something that looks rickety, and then to try to topple it over. I was thinking like nearby in order to scare her away, but I feel like we've already lost that opportunity. Things have escalated.
I feel like she's beyond like
yeah.
logic and fear and self-preservation in the traditional sense, but I do think like knocking a building onto her would, or knocking her into a building, or, you know, Toro Ole, tricking her into running into a building.
So I will say, I'll give you a little bit of context about her stat block and stuff, just so you can understand what you need to do to overcome this situation. Adversaries have a power level to them that represents, when you're building the adversary out, it's how many traits and stuff they have access to. But also that number, which in the case of Umbrella is power level 3, that's the number of her traits that you need to exhaust in order to defeat her. But you have some advantages. She's not at full strength. As you mentioned, she's got injuries and holes in her scales, which is one of her traits, and that has taken damage. That's already been reduced by a few shifts. And the same goes for, there's a trait that represents her strength and size. She has not become a full stone lost yet, which become warped and larger, and that's at a lower state as well. So her physicality, not strong right now. Her fangs and her draconic breath are still at full power, but there are some places where she is weaker that will not take as much work to exhaust. So keep that in mind. You were on the right track, Alex, by mentioning that she's got the injured side.
Yeah.
So focusing in on those. One of the inspirations for how combat works in this is like old school JRPG fights that have multiple stages or multiple targetable things that you can take out.
Right.
You know, take out the healer first, or take out the weapon part first. You know, and when I run the game, I play with the stat block out in the open so that you can make these strategic decisions. So that's the information that I'm going to pass along to you. Her scales and her overall strength and size are not the same as what they would be at full corruption. So those are already weakened.
Let's go nibble on that wound.
Yeah, maybe we could like knock her out and then some.
You can at least get her limping and figure it out from there.
Yes. Although don't worry, I'm basically done draining her magic. This is not a problem at all.
So my default assumption here would be to use my body and my war drake, which are both a d6, to go bite her again. But if anyone has a teamwork thing that you think would be better, I'm open to suggestions.
I'll also remind you, because of the scale, only a critical success will actually shift it down, unless you find a way to give your... So you want to find your way to give yourself the inspired by working together, for example, which guarantees a crit, or on a success anyway.
Yeah.
Or you have your access to your ability, which you can use your War Drake trait as a scale too. And also, I think, Sebastian, you have shifted down a couple times at this point, right?
I shifted down. Yes, I've shifted both mind and soul down.
So you have 2 XP to play with, so you could treat one roll as a scale 2 as well.
And then what goes
meaning
2 XP?
any 6, it would cost you 2 XP. Yeah.
Okay.
So please, keep track of your shifts, all your
I
shifts
have
down,
that.
because you can
Yes.
use them in real time. Yep.
Okay, great. Good to know. Thank you. I'll do that on my turn.
I have a suggestion.
Ayo.
Why don't I try toppling over this rickety pillar that I absolutely see, Jordan?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I see. Okay.
This is a game of imagination,
Yeah,
and you can imagine things into existence. That makes sense.
Maybe I'm thinking out of the moment, but once this thing topples over, it's going to be a little chaotic. Maybe we get some dust in the air. Maybe that gives you the opportunity that you need to be a bit stealthier about where it is that you're going to go bite.
Cover
Alex.
to close the distance. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give you this, Graeme. Any success, inspired roll on Zadirian's attack. If you critically succeed, I'll treat it as a hit against Brella as well.
Okay. Cool.
Sound good?
Sounds good. All right. So One of my keywords.
So are you just physically slamming into something? Yeah. What's going on here?
No, sir. One of the keywords I have is dig for my ruins crow.
Oh, okay.
Imagine, like you said, JRPG style. I don't have a big sword, but I do have a big shovel. So imagine this like long-handled thing that just has a shovel too big for practical use, but it makes sense in like a Monster Hunter or like
Buster Sword of shovels.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's it. And I'm gonna try to slam that into the base of a nearby pillar, and then like lever it over to try to topple it on top of Brella, who I'm sure could take it, but I'm hoping it'll maybe like pin her down, or like I said, create
If you're
some.
lucky, you do 1 damage. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll give Zidirian, pardon me, the upper hand for sure. So go ahead and make
D6 and a D4.
You're rolling your body and
dig. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So on the dig, it was a 2, but I failed with my body. Not a crit fail, just a 5.
Okay. Yeah. Obviously, it's a strain on you. This is not really.
Mm-hmm.
You are pushing yourself beyond where you would normally go with this shovel, but that is a success. It's not a crit, so we won't. This is more of a narrative effect than it is a damage on her. But this pillar, already kind of half crumbling, tips towards Brella and crashes over her, and you can see where the leg that has the injury on it like buckles down as she like collapses a bit under the weight of this. Which gives an opening to Zidirian to dive in and go after that wound.
Charge. Roll. Again, rolling body and Wardrake. Okay, well, finally having some mediocre luck, but 4 on the body and then 2 on the Wardrake.
All right, because it's inspired thanks to Ventrin's help. It's a crit, and describe the action there.
Yeah. So as this pillar hits her, I imagine like hitting her on the back and like breaking in half, but enough that she stumbles. And then as the pillar hits the ground, it just kicks up a cloud of dust, and I zigzag through the cloud of dust real low. Just as the dust is clearing, she's like looking around. I'm gone. I'm not there anymore. And then you just hear a chomp sound, and she looks back, and I'm latched onto her leg again, and just having a bad time with that.
Yeah, you're like an annoying kid.
Yeah.
Chomps audibly.
Perfect. All right, so Zidirian is taking an action, Ventrin is taking an action. Meridian, what would you like to do with your turn?
So would you be able to describe how the Blessed by the Abhorring drawback is affecting me right now, because that will influence what action I take? Or is that...
I would say that if you try and use it for anything that is directly against the abhorrent, then you have risky. It's risky. If you're not using it to do rotten things that the abhorrent wants you to do with it, then it's risky rolls.
Ooh,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's exciting. Yeah.
Which includes trying to pull the corruption back, or
I am trying to
save someone with it. Yeah,
I am trying to do that. Seeing the stone of Exile kind of go darker as the magic comes in. I fully, in my hubris, think I'm like, yes, it's working. So I'm gonna keep trying to do that.
In the case of this, we're treating her attitude, which is her corrupted attitude trait. That's going to be what's being targeted whenever you're trying to reduce the corruption, if that makes sense.
Yes,
okay?
I would like to reduce the corruption.
And it already has been damaged somewhat.
Yes.
Or it has not become full strength yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
because you did mention that now's a corruption, but not entirely gone.
You got some.
Yeah, it hasn't fully spread.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna keep trying to do that. So I will
keep in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, and keep in mind you need a critical success for this to actually affect it, unless you spend some of your.
I'm going to spend my XP. So.
Okay. All right. So we'll treat your we'll treat one of your traits as scale 2, which makes the action scale 2, and that means you'll interact with this like normal. So go ahead and what are you thinking for your roll?
I'm thinking soul again because that's the one that I used before, even if it is less advantageous to me. So, yeah, I'm going to do soul and again stone of exegol.
But it is a risky roll because you're going against the aberrant's will.
Yes, and finally, my hubris has caught up to me, rolling a 4 and a 9.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, the stone of exegol, though belonging to maybe a more shadowy one of the dragons, it is completely against everything that exegol stands for you to have invited the aberrant into this stone. And in turn, it bucks back against you, against your will, and shifts down. Yeah, you're all but knocked back on your ass by this attempt to do.
Well, honestly, honestly, I hope that neither of my companions are able to see it because they're too distracted trying to get hold of the dragon.
I'm a little busy.
Yes,
Things are pretty dusty down here.
Great. I'm very grateful for this. This is my primary concern. I end my turn. Sorry, what?
You know who does see it though?
The dragon.
Serenier.
Oh no, not
That's
he sees
the worst.
He sees you at your lowest.
I'm lying on the ground, like kind of facing the sky, like what is my life?
Yeah. And annoyingly, the look on his face is just sympathy.
Oh, that's even.
He's not
more.
even.
He's not even.
Yeah.
Gonna,
He's not mad. He's just
I'd rather-
disappointed.
No, I'd rather be mocked than pitied. This is awful.
Dang, I didn't know Meridian's soul die was going to exhaust like that.
Yeah, so like both of those shift down though, right? Yeah.
The 9.
You said you got the 9,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I got a 9.
Oh, because it's risky though.
Because it's risky. They both shift down.
They both do shift
Okay,
down.
so
Yeah, you're just
soul-
tearing it.
Yeah, so soul is at D12 right now, so one more failure
Okay.
and I'm no soul.
Obviously, if a core trait exhausts, you end up in a bad spot.
Yeah.
And we'll figure out what that means
Definitely
within
so.
the context.
Yeah, we'll see
Yeah.
it. Come on,
Meridian's been tanking all the shifts
I'm
for the
so
rest of us.
I'm so excited to like have consequences for my actions. This is gonna be good.
But that's 2 more XP for you
Yeah,
as
so
well.
I just
So
so
keep that.
effectively like get
True.
them back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sort of.
Cool.
Sort of an upside.
Cool, yeah. No, I'm good.
Okay.
Okay.
So now we'll go to Brella's turn. As a power 3 adversary, she gets to take 3 actions, and her actions work just like yours. I get to mix and match 2 of her traits, and roll them against your traits. So I think it's going to start again with, as some of the dust starts to clear, she snaps her head around to where Zadirian is latched on, and she says, "Let go of me, you whelp!" And
We're in danger.
she's going to roll her Corrupted, which is at a D8, and her Fangs and Talons, which is at a D6. And I'm going to target your Wardrake
Sure.
trait, which kind of acts as an extra body trait to kind of absorb some of the physical damage. Okay, well that's 2 1s.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So let's spread it across your body and your Wardrake trait as she returns the favor with a much bigger mouth, biting down on one of your wings.
Cool. So body down from D6 to 8, and then Wardrake from 6 to 8 also.
That's right. Yeah. You are hurt, but you are also relieved to note that you don't feel the same kind of corruption spreading from her like you did when you had the thorn in your mouth. So at the very least,
Just regular teeth.
it's not spreading. It's just a regular bite from a very big dragon. Okay, that was her first action roll.
Glad you got those ones out of the way.
Yeah, sure. She's going to target you again, but with a narrative kind of effect of flinging you aside.
Okay.
I'm going to say a success on this will give you a drawback instead of actually affecting,
Sure, instead of
mechanically
damage.
affecting you. Yeah. And she's going to use her unholy strength and size, which is currently at a D10, and I think with her corrupted as well, which is still a D8, to just grab onto you and fling you away. Well, That's a 1 on the corruption. The corruption is pulling a lot of weight. Hey, look, you guys rolled all the successes. So
Yeah, but it's not supposed to be equal. The GM is not supposed to get the ones also.
It's what happens here.
Okay, well, let's put a drawback on that. Let's put a drawback on your War Drake. That we're gonna say your wing's injured, like an injured wing is the drawback. And so now, if you're trying to use it for any flying, it's gonna be risky.
Gotcha.
All right, yeah, you're like, she grabs onto you, she bites hard down into you, and she's biting into your wing and grabs,
then throws me by my wing,
and whips you, into the stone wall that you've been hiding behind, that you were hiding behind previously. Now she's free of the whelp. She's gonna breathe some fire at everybody who's sort of out in the open, which I think right now is Ventrin and Zadirian.
If only I had a pillar to hide behind.
So instead of her rolling, I'm gonna have, you knock down your own cover. So she's gonna use her action to sort of inflict the equivalent of a saving throw on you guys. So, both of you can make a body. Ventrin and Zadirian, please make body rolls to see. A success means you dodge out of the way, but we're seeing if it shifts down or not. That's the real thing.
3.
Oof, I got a 5.
Okay, no shifting down. You're able to get behind things safely, or at least the parts of you that get burnt aren't super important. And you duck out of the way or roll out of the way. Cool. Now we're at the top of the round again, so go ahead and make the advantage is gone now, so go ahead and make a core trait roll and tell me whether you succeed or fail.
I got a 1 on my body roll.
Hell yeah.
Regular fail. 4.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, undone again by my hubris. I've got an 8 on my mind, which is what it is currently, so I go down to a D10.
No.
Oh my god.
I am very... I might die in this
You're
combat
about to...
or something. Like,
you're about to go brain dead.
Yeah. I mean, the
brain and soul
like,
dead.
fully, like, corrupted or
Meridian is
something.
actually melting.
Yeah. Okay. However, I did.
Meridian's like bleeding out of their ears.
Yeah,
like
I did get like another XP out of that, so that's nice.
Sure.
That is nice. Yeah.
As long as you're alive to use it all.
I mean, if I live to see the next round, then I can do the advantage thing next round. So yeah.
Yeah. Zadirian and Meridian, you are going to be acting after Brella, and Ventrin, you are going to be acting before.
What we would have had the first time.
Yeah.
There you go.
Did I see where Zadirian was like flung to?
Yeah, he's not as big as Brella, but he's still very noticeable as to where he is. Yeah.
I think I was
Gotcha.
flung
The wall
somewhere
that
near
you-
you because she tried to breathe fire at both of us. So
That's right. Yeah. Let me know if you're okay with this, Alex. But I'd like to run over to you. I have a keyword survive under my hunter focus trait. I was thinking I might try to pop one of those wings back into place if it's disjointed.
relocate my wing.
Yeah, I see that it's looking a little worse for wear. Is that all right?
So
Yeah.
use it to shift dice back up. There's a couple of ways to do things. You either get a critical success that you can spend that critical success to shift a die back up, or you use a technique that allows you to do it. But when it comes to drawbacks, those are narrative things. They can be dealt with by an action roll. So removing that drawback is certainly an option for you.
So on a regular success, you can get rid of my wing injury, and on a crit, you can get rid of the wing injury and put me back up to a d6.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Up until now, I've been doing body and survive, but I almost wonder if soul is the right one.
It's sort of about whether you're doing it carefully or quickly, right? Like if you use soul, it's it's a little more bedside mannery. If you're using body, it's really about throwing all of your body into the joint to get it back into place. So
We'll do soul. I think that's what makes more sense. If I was just trying to pop my own shoulder back in, I think I'd probably do body, but
shoulder the wall, yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be 2d6. I got a blue and a gold one here. Oh boy.
Oh no, you dislocated my other wing.
Yeah, exactly. How many wings do you have? Sorry. For my hunter trait, it was a 4, and for my soul, it was a 6.
Do either of them shift down? Does your hunter trait shift down?
No, because that was
Okay, so
4, and my soul is a D8, so it doesn't. It doesn't shift down either. Just no successes.
just a general fail. Okay, yeah. Dragon anatomy is different from people anatomy, human anatomy, and
I've only seen it in books.
Yeah, exactly, and
or only practiced by reading.
And I think maybe what you realize is it's going to take a lot more effort to physically pop this bone back into place than you thought. So
Body die was the one I should have gone with.
I think you come over and grab it, and like I realize what you're doing, so I don't try to stop you. But then as you do it, you just do it at like completely the wrong angle. And I think involuntarily Zidorian roars at you, and you're like, "Sorry,
I believe it. I believe it. That's it. No luck for Ventrin this time.
All right, over to Brella. I'm gonna get another body roll from the two of you to avoid another flame attack.
5.
2, still dodging.
All right, good. Ducking and weaving. And the next thing she's going to do is she's gonna try and take off a bit, not so much to leave, but to sort of make her seem bigger. And she's going to make sort of an attempt to terrify all of you. So she's going to roll her unholy strength and size and her corrupted trait. So D8 and a D10. And this is like a blast that's going to go out to all three of you. And it's going to be against your minds.
Oh no. Ouch,
Oh,
my brain.
What's left of your mind?
Yes.
So I rolled another 1.
Great.
On the D10 of all of them. The D8 failed. So there is something about seeing her wings outstretched, the corruption starting to climb up them, the purple veins of the corruption blending with the veins that you can see against the afternoon sun. And we'll say everyone shifts down once, and then I'll cash in that crit as a drawback on all of your minds as
Oh my god.
as terrified. You have a terrified drawback, meaning terrified of her. If you're doing anything that requires getting really close or
That's my whole thing.
dealing with her head on, it'll be risky.
Yeah, I just want to give you an update on how my stats are. Like, so mind and soul are both a D12 and body is a D10.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's a problem.
Thanks for the note.
So, yeah, just letting you know, Jordan, this is very funny.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is the consequences of your actions.
Yes, this is what I wanted as a player. My character
Well.
did not want this. Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Here's the consequences of my
So
actions.
experienced, though.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll also note, as things get more dire, you can do what's called exert a die, where you can voluntarily shift it down to automatically get a success. And that's regardless of scale or anything like that. You can voluntarily burn one of your dice to get an automatic success on the action roll that you're taking. These are resources that you have. You can spend them in any way that you want. And if you're voluntarily giving them up, you voluntarily get a success. So even when you're down to D12 and you're likely failing rolls left and right, you could burn it out in one last ditch effort to get a success.
I could choose to let the abhorrent take my soul. That's fine. I wouldn't, but
Yeah.
but it could be fun.
Before you do that.
Yes.
So her last action is, as she's up there, she sees Sir, she sees her
Rainier.
knight captain, Sir Rainier, and for a minute, like her black eyes fade away, and you see her original ice blue eyes visible, and her whole face, as much as a dragon's face can emote, changes to one of like horror and despair, and then the black takes over again, and she dives down towards him. He is represented by a trait. It's a single trait. It's at D10 currently.
Oh no.
He can be used in the same way that you use one of your focus traits. If you want to sort of have him in the action or get his help on something, you can roll his die like anything else. But right now, she is going after him, just with a sort of an injured dive bomb towards him. With we're gonna say it's the D10 and the D6 fangs and talons. Okay, no crit on this one, but there is a success. She hits the ground hard in front of him. In this state, she seems to struggle to communicate, but she snakes her head down towards him and bites down again on his leg, his already injured leg.
No.
And he lets out a scream, an unknightly scream. All right, that is her turn. Now we go to Zadirian and Meridian.
All right, real quick before you blow yourself up.
Yes. Yes. Go on.
Let me try to like bite her again or something.
Yeah. No, by all means, go first. I'm very slow at the moment.
Okay, so my body's at a D8. My war drake is at a D8.
So I'll say the scales, the insensate scales trait that you've been injuring up until now, I'll say that it's at a D12. One more success on this exhausts it, and it will mean she won't be able to won't be able to absorb hits anymore, and it'll be gone. It's almost like hitting her in her body trait in a way. This could be a good opportunity to shift a die down and get automatic success if you want, or to use your ability to make the roll scale 2 if you haven't.
Yeah, I think I was gonna go for that.
Okay.
Can I do if she's facing the knight and she's on his case right now?
Mm-hmm.
Can I use stalk instead of? Can I use the nomad thing? Okay.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. Sneaking up on her.
I'll still do it with body, but
sure.
Because it's better than the other two, and the other ones don't make sense.
All right, so you're activating your technique for this action.
Yes.
So any success will work, and a critical success will shift it down twice.
Worth it. 1 on body with the D8, so very unlikely, and then 3 on Wasteland Nomad.
Nice.
Hell yeah. All right. So it only takes 1 to exhaust this trait. And you dive down against, you kind of still some of the dust in the air, maybe from the column collapsing. You use that one last time to get close enough to bite down on her, and you can see where the plate armor of the scales is just like completely ripped away, and it's a big enough patch on the side that it's not really going to be useful to her anymore. And that's exhausted. You have that critical success there still.
Yeah.
Normally you would shift the thing down an extra time. You could choose to shift one of your dice up. You could offer it up to a friend. Or I'd allow you to maybe transfer it over to some other part of her to represent the continuing damage against her, if you like.
Yeah. I think since I'm biting and clawing at this leg where the evil goo got into her, could I then do 1 damage to the corruption itself and say that, like, as I bite on that wound, I, like, breathe fire into it?
Yeah.
And, like, kind of burn some of it away?
And there's something like, like the purity of dragon fire.
Yeah, something cleansing about it, yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Cool. So I'll shift the D8 of the corrupted down to D10 as well. So just to give you an update, D10 on the corrupted attitude, D6 on the draconic fires, exhausted on the insensate scales. Her fangs and talons are still at a D6, and her unholy strength and size is at a D10. So her weak points are now the corrupted attitude and her unholy strength and size. But awesome turn. All right, that leaves Meridian.
Okay. What else can I even do? Sorry, so you said her strength and size. Okay, strength. Okay.
And the corruption itself is
a
weak point.
Yes.
Well, maybe don't keep fucking with the corruption itself. That hasn't been going so good for you.
I've decided not to do that, especially since Serenair has seen me, and I really need to like redeem myself and be like, no, I swear I'm not owned or whatever, like. So.
I'm not owned.
Maybe just throw on some gravity magic.
Yeah. So no, I'm gonna use my Wormstone sorcerer trait, which is like the only thing that has not shifted down because I haven't used it yet. I'm going to do some evoking, I think. And I would like to try and channel this like through my body, as in physically. I have to like concentrate on how to get the, you know, like I'm just gonna go back to way before I even like encountered the Stone of Exegol, and I'm just like, wait, so how would I do this if I weren't like obsessed with this stone? Like,
You're returning to your early training.
I'm returning to my early training back before I encountered the stone and it made me look down on everyone, or try to.
Okay. So, are you going to cash in some
yes, I
experience?
am going to cash in some experience. So I'm trying to evoke and just kind of like target corruption, because I've seen that my dragon friend burned up a bunch, and I'm like, well, yeah, you know, I remember. I'm a mage. I can evoke stuff. I can also maybe make fire. Yeah. So.
Great.
I'm inspired
right,
by the actions
so
of my
you're
peers
gonna roll
and the
that?
power of friendship. So yes, I will roll that.
And the power of fire.
The power of a fireball. So we'll see.
And the power of hubris.
Yes. So I'm rolling a D10 and a D6. D6 is a 1 and the D10 is a 5. So
Hey.
That's
so
a crit.
Yes. Yeah, so
And
it doesn't
because
actually
you-
shift down because yeah.
No, a crit is you're treating
What's a
it. You're cashing in your XP to treat it as a scale 2. You're summoning extra power to be on the same level, and so we're treating this as though it's a normal roll. So a success shifts it down. Any success shifts the die down 1, but then the crit can be used to shift it down a second time.
Yes.
So the D10, if you want, can go to a D12 and then
Yes,
exhaust.
I
Do you want to just
I
completely?
would very much like to annihilate the corruption, so I'm just like, all right, let's do this the old-fashioned way, and just it burns away and kind of falls off in like a kind of ashen manner, because you said it was like kind of tendrils, so maybe it
Sure.
solidifies and just kind of falls off. Like,
I was gonna say, do you want to like firebend my breath?
yeah, honestly, yeah, why not?
Ooh.
That could be fun. Yes,
Ooh.
I'm very down to firebend your breath.
Cool. You kind of like capture it after it's come out of Zidarian's maw, and you keep like bending it around,
Yeah.
and it burns away at least the exterior corruption that is on Brella. And for a moment, her eyes turn back to icy blue. She says,
Real quick, I have to say, I'm just picturing Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Yeah.
"Well, she's Blue Eyes Blue Dragon."
Okay.
Back to the
Is that
shadow
okay?
realm
I mean,
with
Blue
you,
Eyes White Dragon
corruption.
kind of is Blue Eyes Blue Dragon in most of the art, but
I play Magic cards, not Yu-Gi-Oh. So
eh.
I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh player who got turned into a Magic player, so yeah.
Also, while we're highlighting cool things, I just want to say, you said Zidarian's Maw, and that just sounds like one of the most badass things I've ever heard.
Zidarian's Maw sounds like a super cool name for a giant spaceship.
Yeah.
yeah.
You could
If
play
we
in
play
Shift
the-
because it's genre agnostic.
Yeah. I was gonna say it sounds
Exactly.
like a kind of
If-
band name, like the Durian's Ball, like a metal band.
or a death
Yeah.
metal band.
It's so good. It's
Yeah.
multi-use. Yeah. Sorry, Jordan.
No, it's okay. I'll be dreaming about Zidarian's Maw, the spaceship / rock band tonight. So, some clarity comes to Brella's eyes, and she realizes what she has done, and like looks down at Rainier and looks around at all of you, and she says, "It's not gone. It's not gone. I need to leave here. I need to leave here and never come back, and you need to just forget about me. And I'm going to leave you the option. You can continue to beat her up, maybe knocking her out and bringing her back to try and help her, or you can let her leave, which is what her wishes are right now. So Rainier
let her
is
go.
too hurt to make a decision.
As much as Zidarian is like a bit of an edgelord among the dragons, I don't think he takes pleasure in killing them.
Keeping in mind that we have like an uncorrupted scale still in the compass, I think in terms of like a longer term adventure, I think that's a cool.
It could be cool to keep
next
tracking her and have her show
yeah.
up a couple sessions later, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
either corrupted or whatever. Maybe we find a cure. Maybe maybe it's just tragic. Yeah, like the long-term story potential is more interesting if we let her go.
All right, Meridian agrees.
Yes, I do. I was gonna say, with my mind and my soul at D12, you could persuade me to do almost anything at this point.
Fair enough. Does anyone have any last words for her before she departs?
I like to think that in like the draconic language, there's like a Godspeed, a good luck kind of word, and I would just say that.
Say something like, "We'll make sure he gets back safely."
She nods. She gets halfway through a nod towards you, like a bow of reverence towards you, and then her whole neck and face contort as you can sense that the corruption is starting to climb up her spine or something, and she extends her wings out, and for potentially the last time, you watch her take off into the sky, and out into the wastelands. You're left with just an unconscious Sir Rainier, and the silence of the wind whistling through the ruins.
Wait, he's unconscious? He wasn't even awake to see my fire bending?
No, he missed it all. He got bit.
Don't worry, I'll tell him how cool it was.
Please.
And then we put him up on my back, flop him over like a horse, and then we walk back.
Sure.
Vedran finally wades his way out of the dust. What I miss.
You're fully white. You're covered in dust.
Yeah.
Covered in flour. That was a mill.
Yeah.
So as you head back, you know that you will have to start the ceremonial plans for... You'll have to treat Brella as lost, and you'll have to plan the ceremony of a funeral for her in absentia. And to some degree, you're thankful that at least you don't also have to do that for Souvenir. And somewhere back in the back of your mind, Meridian, in sort of the warped, your warped mind and soul, before you have a chance to recover it, there's this sneaking voice of your own ambition, that he's going to be too weak to return, and they're going to need someone to fill his spot, and you'll be the one there to get it.
I think there's a little bit of a darkness that swirls inside of this ring, and it lights up at the same time. It's kind of got both of them in it. That's cool. Yeah, that's
how I would end the episode, is just the little glimmer of dark corruption coiling around in the ring. As you bring this corruption back to the middle of the last bastion of humanity.
What could go wrong?
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong?
I don't know. What do you mean? We got him. We saved the day. We're heroes.
Yeah, it's a successful mission.
For now.
Yeah.
All right, and that's where we'll call it, I think.
Fantastic. Bravo. That was great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for playing, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. That was fun.
Yes, that was very good fun. Let's start wrapping things down. So if you're listening to this, audience, right as it comes out, then, or shortly after, they should still be in the middle of their Kickstarter. So link for that in the description. But long term, Jordan and Graeme and Sebastian, where can people find the game if they want to play it?
Your best bet is shiftrpg.com, or to go to hitpointpress.com, and you'll see Shift advertised there. As far as digging into the game and learning more about it, and being able to even try it out for yourself, I think the Discord is probably the best place to join. We've got people designing games. We've got people running games of a Shift there. It's a great place to ask questions about the rules. And Sebastian runs all kinds of cool things. If you want to mention a few of them, Sebastian.
And the Discord is rpgshift.com/Discord. Some of the cool things that we have. This month in particular, this month being October, we are running games every single weekend. Ordinarily, it is just one weekend per month. So even if this episode comes out afterwards, then you can still join the Discord, and there are regular alerts. For
the episode will be out during October, but for people who are listening from the future.
Okay. Yeah. So, we run games of Shift every single month, and there are alerts for when new games open up. These are beginner friendly. You don't have to have any knowledge of the game to enjoy it. Character creation takes place in the session itself. 2 to 3 hours. Highly recommend that you join one if you want to try it out for yourself. We also run monthly game jams, whereby you can create a micro setting, the Bold Spark, so something like the setting we just played in. There are instructions, there are tutorial videos, and there are a whole bunch of people who are also creating with you. So please come and join the community.
Fantastic. All right. And I'll have some of those links in the description for easy access, of course, as always. And so then the last thing we do, just for a couple of minutes here before we wrap up, we like to talk about game design and inspirations and mechanics and that sort of stuff. That's ultimately what this show is really about. The actual play is more for context than anything. So I've always been a little hesitant about systems like this that are sort of, you can kind of put whatever world you want on it, right? Normally I'm a type of person where like, okay, if I want to play something that resembles whatever movie or whatever, I'll find a system that is built specifically for that. But I think you've demonstrated with this game here a really good use case for a game like this, because there's a pile of other great medieval fantasy systems, but most of them would crumble at the idea of having one player be a dragon. So I think you've in this particular case you found a really good place for it. I'm curious, in the other genres and the other worlds you've built and other stuff, like what are some other examples that you've seen of where like this, you could only do this in this game kind of thing? You do this much better in this game, at least.
Yeah, I think the go-to, one of the reasons we say adversaries as opposed to just monsters is that they can be any kind of obstacle. And one of the settings in the core book is a romance setting, sort of a Bridgerton kind of vibe. And that's a game where that's a type of setting where you're not, beating the snot out of each other. I mean, unless things go
fighting per se. Yeah.
Yeah. Unless things go horribly wrong. And so, in the same way that we use the game tonight to fight a dragon, you can use it to run an argument between two people, or you can use it to represent, going up against something a little more psychological as opposed to like physical, right? And in the romance setting, for example, one of the adversaries, quote unquote, is the rumor mill, which is literally you're fighting back sort of lies and gossip about your characters or an NPC or whatever, to sort of prove everybody wrong. And it all uses the same mechanics, and the rumor mill is built the same way as any other quote unquote monster, but it's recontextualized. The encounter is recontextualized to represent a more social kind of interaction. And I think that it works really well. Like it really, I mean, I'm biased obviously because,
sure. But you're right. It does work.
Yeah. And the rule book, the core rules, gives you advice on how to use the game that way. And I think that its strength is that it uses the same system for all of this stuff. So, a lot of systems will have a different mechanic for social combat than for physical combat. And ours is the same. It's just about sort of recontextualizing what a monster is, or what an adversary is for that particular situation. So I would say that's the other extreme, having large characters and big, scary things. The mechanics for ships and vehicles are very easy. They all use that scale rule as well. And then over to like social encounters, it's just the same kind of thing. You build a monster stat block, but instead it's your inner demons instead of outer demons. And I think it does that really smoothly with little to no overhead needed to shift into that gear. Pardon the pun.
Hey.
Yeah.
On that note of, just one more question. On that note of how flexible it is, in this game, one player character was a dragon. That's pretty weird. I'm curious, like, and you can all answer this separately. I'm sure you all have different stories. You've played different campaigns of this and stuff. What's been like the most surprising, either a character or like a single trait where you're like, I wouldn't have thought to make one of those, but great, yeah.
It's not necessarily like a most surprising thing, but I always just love that like folks who want to have a companion can use a focus trait to create, an animal companion, or even we see sometimes people just have like a good friend or a bodyguard that they have.
That's a clever use, yeah, because extra NPCs can be tough to navigate in other systems for sure.
Well, once you tell people, when they start playing an RPG that you can do anything, it's really tricky in an abstract sense, for new players to kind of wrap their heads around that and think like, well, really, can I? And there are similar challenges in every RPG, but I think in Shift, one of the things that's really cool is that these, with just a couple keywords that help describe the focus traits, your bodyguard, could be tough and sensitive. You know what I mean? Like you can have both of those keywords to kind of open up a world of play, and there's not really a limit there, which is cool. Or you can have a giant shovel. But it all uses the same core mechanics. So once you master a shovel, really, like, your next focus trait could be something wholly different. You don't have to relearn a system, and it's all kind of self-contained, and it tailors itself.
Yeah, it's all upfront learning.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Sebastian, from your games?
Yeah, I think I actually want to talk about the time when Jordan, we ran that game at Breakout, and we had there was a father who came with his very young son. I think I want to say he was like 6 or 7 years old or something.
Yeah, 7, I think. Yeah,
7. But it was really cool because that was like the first time that I'd seen like a child engaging with this game. And like he managed to pick it up really quickly. We were playing in like the sci-fi world, and he had some really fun ideas about how to like fight two people who were arguing amongst themselves, like, because we had those prospectors, Jordan, you remember? Like,
yeah. I think what really appealed to the kid was that he just had to describe his character, and that was character creation, right?
Yeah. That was his
adding
action.
dice and all that stuff is very simple. Yeah, he didn't have to. He just described what he wanted to play. And
right, he didn't have to go into a catalog of spells and features and abilities.
Yeah.
He's just like, I'm a Jedi, or whatever, because he's 7, and like it works, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, and similarly, like all he had to do was kind of describe what action his character wanted to do, and there inevitably was something on his character sheet that would enable him to do that. So it works really well from like a narrative standpoint, and you're not necessarily like trying to min-max the game and interpreting the rules for that. You can just take the keyword and be like, well, it says I can do this, so yeah, like I can. I
remember during the playtest that for anyone worried that they'll have to invent everything for the game, like these shifts, the world sparks that come in the core book also provide you with a big list of traits. All of their pre-made characters were built using the pre-list of traits. And each of the worlds will have 10 of them and a bunch of techniques to choose from. So you don't necessarily need to be the person who likes inventing everything on the fly. But when I played in the playtesting in the early days with Graeme, we had a lot of GMs playing, other game designers. And I remember a person made one of their focus traits something like cursed by fate or something like that, and they made their 2 keywords wheel and woe. and I mean, it bent my brain out of shape trying to figure out what it meant, because he wanted it to represent fate having an influence over him, and it just provides a lot. Because the players get to be game designers when they're making their characters, right? You get to like create what everything means together at the table, and by the end of the session, we had at least our meta of what the wheel and woe meant on it, and it was cool. It was a way to stretch the mechanics to a limit, and it didn't break. It was maybe a little weird, but we had a lot of fun with it. It's like anytime someone comes up with a cool idea that isn't just I have fire magic, or
a gun.
I have a sword or whatever. Yeah. I have a gun. Yeah.
And I think that's one of the cool things is that, like, when you're playing other games and you have a cool idea, you do have to worry about balance, right? But I think one of the things I'm most proud of with Shift is that all of the balance gets front loaded to the dice, and just because of the way that like the math works out, it's like your odds of failing go up the more you roll them, but your odds of exhausting it actually go down the more that you use it. So you rarely ever have to worry about the balancing, because it kind of takes care of that for you. If you use it a whole bunch, then it'll tap out faster. But if it's great. So you can think of some really, really out there examples and just give it a try.
Right, you have some Sword of the Gods or whatever. It's on the same tracker as everything else.
Yeah.
It's not OP, you know. No, it's very clever. You've figured something very, very interesting here. But I think that's about our time. Thank you again for bringing this great game here. Normally, I'd give the floor to for any guest players to plug their own stuff if anyone has like a Twitch channel or anything. But you're all from the same company, so if you got anything else in the works, you can plug that here real quick if you'd like.
You're welcome to follow me on Blue Sky at Made of Cartoons if you want to talk game design. I'm trying to be there more often. As an old man, I'm not very good at that stuff, but I do like the game design community on Blue Sky, so please come and bug me about stuff. Get me involved and invite me to your game jams and stuff. I'd like to be there. But yeah, I mean, I get to make games for a living, so I don't have a lot of extracurricular stuff.
You can find me on socials at Risky Pixels. That's the name I go by everywhere online, really. And yeah, I would just like to encourage everyone to check out Shift when it's available. Get involved, as Sebastian said, in the Discord and check it out and see if it's for you. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. There's a lot of great things happening there.
Yeah, honestly, you can follow me on Blue Sky as well. I'm Sebastian Ue, all one word, or you can find me on my website, sebastianue.ca. But really, yeah, just join the Shift Discord and hang out with me there. I'm there like all day, every day. So please give it a shot.
All right, fantastic. And of course, if anyone listening is looking for more of me for some reason, you're already in the right place. Hit the subscribe button and you'll get more of that. Right now, we are working our way through Triangle Agency in our long form series. We've also got, by the time you're hearing this, 10 other episodes, something like that, 9 other episodes of this series of other great one-shots of little indie games that you should try, because you should support indie games. And that is about it. We upload at least every 2 weeks, usually more, so stick around, and thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.
Bye.